I want to focus your attention this morning on Ecclesiastes chapter 2, and I'm going to read the first 11 verses. Ecclesiastes chapter 2, beginning in verse 1 and reading down through verse 11. I said to myself, come on, let's try pleasure. Let's look for the good things in life. But I found that this too was meaningless. So I said, laughter is silly. What good does it do to seek pleasure? After much thought, I decided to cheer myself with wine. And while still seeking wisdom, I clutched at foolishness. In this way, I tried to experience the only happiness most people find during their brief life in this world. I also tried to find meaning by building huge homes for myself and by planting beautiful vineyards. I made gardens and parks, filling them with all kinds of fruit trees. I built reservoirs to collect the water to irrigate my many flourishing groves. I bought slaves, both men and women, and others were born into my household. I also owned large herds and flocks, more than any of the kings who had lived in Jerusalem before me. I collected great sums of silver and gold, the treasure of many kings and provinces. I hired wonderful singers, both men and women, and had many beautiful concubines. I had everything a man could desire. So I became greater than all who had lived in Jerusalem before me, and my wisdom never failed me. Anything I wanted, I would take. I denied myself no pleasure. I even found great pleasure in hard work, a reward for all my labors. But as I looked at everything I had worked so hard to accomplish, it was all so meaningless. Like chasing after the wind, there was nothing really worthwhile anywhere. Sobering. So I want to begin with a quote from The Matrix. This is, if you're not familiar with The Matrix, that's okay. This will still be meaningful to you. This is the first Matrix, none of the sequels. And it's the first conversation that Morpheus is having with Neo. Not that that means anything to you, but it means something to me. Listen to what he says. You are here because you know something. What you know, you can't explain, but you feel it. You've felt it your entire life. There is something wrong with the world, but you don't know what it is. It sits there like a splinter in your mind. I think he speaks for all of us in that regard. We spend our lives trying to fill voids. You may be aware of that. You may be unaware of that, but we spend, make no mistake about it, we spend our lives trying to fill voids that we feel. We use relationships to make us feel less lonely. We use work to make us feel accomplished. We use education to make us feel smart. We use pleasure to make us feel alive. We use romance to make us feel loved. We use sex to make us feel desired. We're on a constant search for that missing piece of the puzzle that we can sense but can't fully identify. I read an article yesterday that listed self-help book statistics. Not that these statistics shocked me, but nevertheless, I was still somewhat amazed. In the U.S., did you know that in the U.S., the sales of self-help books have grown to 18.6 million copies a year? 15,000 self-help books are published in the U.S. each year, and that number is growing. And this is probably the most stunning. The self-help book industry is now worth $10.5 billion. And that number grows every year. I mean, people are looking for answers. People are looking for help, searching for that thing that's missing, that thing that they can sense but can't fully identify. They look under every rock and behind every tree. Everyone searches somewhere for meaning. You could even say everyone searches everywhere for meaning. Everyone looks for truth. Everyone attaches his or her identity to someone, to something. Everyone searches for fulfillment. Everyone. As Blaise Pascal once said hundreds of years ago, we are born with a God-shaped void in our soul that only God is big enough to fill. The writer of Ecclesiastes is no exception. Like us, he's on the hunt. He's searching. He's looking. Throughout Ecclesiastes, in fact, he begins many of his paragraphs by saying, I have seen, I have tested, I have discovered. He's looking, he's searching, he's hunting. He's not some ivory tower pontificator. He's slugging his way through life on the ground, desperately looking for something to make him feel alive, something that will satisfy, something that will fill the void. And what he concludes over and over and over and over again is that everything and everyone in this world will fail you. No exceptions. Everyone and everything in this world will fail you, will let you down. In fact, he says here that it's like chasing after the wind. Something that you chase but can never catch.